Small government leads to strong individuals, and we need Atlas Shrugged readers everywhere so that people of all different paths can interpret her and implement her in their own way. So is the world becoming more Randian? Who's winning, the individual or the state? Well, I grew up in Ronald Reagan's America in the 1980s. Those were my high school and university years. He slowed the growth of government, slashed taxes in 1982, took a global stand for freedom against the USSR. The Laffer curve was a concept that I understood and believed from age 16. When the Berlin Wall fell, I was already living in Europe, and I could see the arc of history moving towards freedom, or so I thought. It was that release of freedom that inspired me to build Europe.net in every business that I've done. I felt a new dawn emerging across the European landscape as a result of the lifting up of that veil of communism that I felt still the remnants of in my early 20s. The opportunities for the individual to be the CEO of his or her life exploded with the lifting of that Iron Curtain. But I would argue that the EU missed a seismic opportunity in how it set itself up by not empowering the individual in a fundamental way through its architecture. Today, when I speak about Europe, I see a market of more than 508 million people, and I look at the ways that we can empower individuals in that market to be the CEOs of their lives. Earlier this year, in Entrepreneur Country, we established property rights for individual data. This is our citizenship application inside of Entrepreneur Country. It was codenamed Project De Soto, after Hernando de Soto, who established property rights for Peruvian farmers. And surprise, surprise, their behavior changed when they were the owners of their own farms instead of just working on them. Property rights are a financial asset. If you had a credit card with 10,000 euros on it, you wouldn't throw it away. If you have a house, you can borrow against it. Well, your data, both historical as well as ongoing transactional data, is being used to profile you when you interact online. And frankly, the value of that data per individual is being confiscated without any economic or financial value being attributed to the individual. I believe that Rand would very much approve of the establishment of a new financial asset class which empowers the individual in a fundamental way, that of property rights assigned to consumer data. The balance sheets of Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google are enormous and growing because they have the accrued value, the collectivized value of our data and its economic worth. It's a contributor to the intangible value that is exponential and growing and accruing to them because the mechanism of applying it to the individual has not yet been worked out. First, you need to establish the principle, then the design, and then the execution flows. How would something like the establishment of property rights for consumer data actually come about? Well, again, enter the entrepreneur, follow the entrepreneur, create a challenge for entrepreneurs to solve the implementation. I've created a piece of logic that's about the optimization of value for individual data real time. I'm not a programmer, but I have faith that those that are can build this, and the establishment of a new financial asset for everyone to claim would be one of the biggest enablers of wealth creation. Precisely at a time when, due to the penetration of technology in people's lives, we are approaching a new common sense of living online, connected and empowered with the remote control to our lives in our pockets with our smartphones. The millennials, many of whom I have in my company, don't always seem to understand the cost of the incredible inefficiency of the state as it is run today. At Ariadne Capital, I asked my team on the 1st of July if they know what day it is. And they say, duh, Julie, it's the 1st of July. And I say, no, actually, it's the first day you work for yourself. You're paying over 50% of your income to the state to run it, and you really only start to work for yourself halfway through the year. How do you feel about that? And they always think I'm exaggerating. They just really don't get that. And yet, in so many ways, the same group of under 30s feel that they are individual capitalists. They don't really think that they work for anyone, much less me, but they have yet to fully understand the cost of the incredible inefficiency of the state, even as they feel more empowered than I think I even felt when I was 23 years old.